Hey kids, you're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast. Prepare for the SML Podcast.
I'm more surprised it's fucking 30 degrees today. What the hell happened?
Yeah, we got a freeze warning in Hanover today.
Okay, I live in Texas, so obviously it's not cold here, but it was cold enough yesterday that I turned on the heater for the first time in a while, and we had a brand new AC unit installed because our AC broke. So I turned on the heater, and usually when you turn on the heater for the first time in a year, it's it burns up some dust, so it makes a little bit of smoke and smells bad for a few minutes. Well, this made enough smoke to set off all the fire alarms in the house.
Oh.
And you could see the smoke, and so I was like, I'm turning this back off. And the cats were, of course, freaking out because they had never heard a fire alarm before. And so I ended up calling 911 just to get them to send just a guy out here just to make sure there's no fires that I'm not aware of,
Yeah. Better safe than sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. So, after I got that cleared and stuff, I just kind of turned off the furnace, I turned off the breaker and stuff like that. So, it got slightly cold over the last couple of days in Texas, but it felt really cold to me because I couldn't turn the heater on to combat it.
Bro put kindling in his vents.
You what?
Rash Rando says bro put kindling in his vents.
Oh yeah, you know me. I gotta.
Why not?
Those twigs gotta go somewhere. You can't just throw them away.
How else are you gonna cook your s'mores over a vent?
I lived in Massachusetts for a little while, so I do remember saving some twigs so that you could, get a fire started pretty quick. But
and dryer lint, right?
Yeah.
That goes up so quick.
Yeah, just stuff that dryer lint up in there. It'll smell laundry fresh.
That's what I do. That's a really good hiking backpack thing to have.
Oh, is it?
You take a toilet paper tube and you stuff it full of dryer lint, and that's an awesome fire starter.
I actually did not know that because I always assumed that would be a bad thing to burn. But yeah, I guess as long as you're just igniting some wood,
blows up. Yeah.
I mean, it's just using the idea of that's one of the most common causes of house fires. So if it's that flammable, it might as well be good for starting purposeful fires in a fire ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that completely checks out. I just never even thought of it before.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh,
this
I
is
see
a teaching
my
podcast. What's up, everybody? This is SML. The teachers today are Big Adam, Andy Sperry, Pernell Vaughan, Chris Taylor, and Aki the Vulgar.
I'm actually the annoying student that sits at the front of the class and always has at least one question.
That makes you smarter than 90% of the fuckers, so,
Yeah.
But
still better.
But also more annoying than 90%.
Don't care. I'd rather an annoying motherfucker who asks questions isn't fucking brain dead than 90% of the people we have in this country right now. So, you're still a much better student than most of the people. I'd still prefer you.
Hooray.
Because annoyingness
Good
can
job,
be beat out
it.
of you. Stupidity
I know.
cannot.
I won school 20 years after the last time I ever went.
Hey, had the win at some fucking point.
I know, that's right.
Aki's very passionate about this.
No, I'm just angry right now. I'm extremely angry.
Why are you angry?
Because of what Dick Shit and Chief is doing. 104%. Jesus fucking Christ.
104% to what?
China.
Tariffs on China. And here, let me explain this. 90% of the metal, the steel that we use for everything, from China. All the electronics that are used in everything, China. Why? Because they're sitting on the largest single thing of precious metals on the fucking planet.
Isn't this a video game podcast?
Yes.
You know how they make the Switch 2?
Electronics.
Do you know what goes into the Switch 2?
Electronics.
Love.
What are
Games.
those electronics made of?
Games.
Precious metals.
Rainbows.
Ideas.
And rainbows.
If it was made out of rainbows, my life would be so much better. But no, we allow mouth breathers to fucking vote.
In fact, the leprechaun.
Leprechauns would be easier to deal with.
I don't know. Have you seen Leprechaun in the Hood?
Yeah, still easier to deal with.
Pretty brutal.
It's very brutal.
Tonight's movie review is Leprechaun in the Hood. Pernell, tell us about this movie.
Out of all of them that would be reviewed, it shouldn't be that. It's the worst. Oh man, the Leprechaun movies are trash. They're so bad.
So how is everyone doing without getting into politics?
I can't answer it, but no.
I'm finally off work enough that I can go to VGM Con. Like, I just got off work, and then I don't go back to work until next Tuesday.
Oh, you get
so
a good amount of time off.
Yeah, I'm driving, so I'm going to be heading out late tomorrow night.
Oh, I hope you have a safe trip, man.
Thank you. I'm sure I will. There'll be someone else in the car, and we'll be driving in shifts. It'll be good. And it's funny because, okay, so I'm going to dox myself completely and say I live off of Interstate 35, which is an up and down interstate that goes all the way from like Mexico up into Canada. Like, it just goes straight through the country, right? So I live right next to it somewhere in Austin. And so I'm going to get on that highway and I'm going to drive straight up 35 all the way to Minneapolis and then exit at the convention.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the convention is literally down the highway from me, but 17 hours away.
That is wild.
That's what I love about America.
MapQuest prints out half a sheet of paper, and you're like, "This is fucking 2 days of driving."
Yeah, it's there's a lot to dislike about America, especially right now. But the thing I do love is getting on 35 at my house and then driving to the convention, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 17 hours later without ever changing the highway.
That's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yet at the same time, you're almost going to want to take an exit just to feel something different.
Well, so you can take an exit to take a little bit of a detour to avoid some tolls in Oklahoma, but I'm going to pay that $4 or whatever because I want to just not get off the highway.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm just going to make sure
if
I bring some
you're
cash.
going to need like an easy pass, something like that.
Heck, I don't know.
You guys have?
I don't remember.
A national thing? I don't know if that's national or just like East Coast. I don't know how that shit works.
Well, Texas.
We got it over here too.
Yeah, Texas has it, but I think it only works in Texas. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it works everywhere. We have it though. So
there's a number of different ones, and depending on the state or depending on the company, it hits different states. Like Illinois has the iPass. And I'm pretty sure you can't use the iPass on an Easy Pass, but they're basically regional.
Yeah, so I'm going to bring
quarters.
I'm going to go out. I'm going to go hit the streets, beat up some bullies from the local high school, and take their lunch money after making them barf.
Very good.
And then I will take that with me on the road and spend as necessary.
Give them some swirlies.
Yeah. Before anybody listening to this podcast takes my dry sense of humor as being legally actionable, I am basically saying the plot of River City Ransom on the NES.
Yep. And can vouch for that.
Yeah.
There's a movie based on that game.
What? Is it Scott Pilgrim?
No. Called River City Rumble. There's this guy named Tim Ekibis. There's a movie studio.
I sold the director's script of that movie from Tim, signed by a bunch of the cast and crew. at my auction.
Very cool.
What did that go for? Do you remember?
Like a couple $100. Tim was like dumbfounded. So was I. I had a feeling it would go to like somebody who appreciated like mag historical stuff, but it went to. I think it went to the guy that won the lumberjack thing this year. I'm pretty sure it went to him.
Awesome.
I'm pretty sure he's the one that bought.
That is awesome. That makes me happy. Like this,
because he's also the one that has the helmet.
Magfest museum.
He has like his own personal Magfest museum because he has the helmet too.
Yeah,
that helmet has still been to every single Super Magfest to have ever happened.
He has a lumberjack shirt.
Well, he owns one. It's still on my coffee table. I haven't shipped it yet. I'm a fucking dick, and I do need to get that shipped.
Damn.
I've talked to him a couple times, though. No, I've talked to him a couple times. Like, we're Facebook friends at this point.
But,
nice.
Yeah. If people remember our good friend Tim Ekibus, who used to be on the show a while back, check out x-strikestudios.com. Him and a lot of his friends put together a bunch of cool movies. Aki, I know he sent you a few of them. Did you watch any of them?
Not yet, no. I've been busy with, all of my games. I haven't even watched all the Christmas movies that I got this year yet.
Wow.
I've watched, 2 out of, 10. And I was planning on watching those and these movies, and I was too busy.
I have,
which ones did I send you? I forget which ones.
I have, 5 of his physical copy movies.
Okay, you sent me... P. Rappa's Nth Mile Dilemma.
Hell
That's
yeah.
a funny one.
Yes.
That was the first one I was going to watch because it looked the most horrific, to be honest.
I mean, that's fair.
Can confirm.
Resident Horror.
Oh,
very good.
Horror.
That might be my favorite.
Yeah, that's my favorite too. Resident Horror is my favorite.
Yeah, Silent Horror.
That's the prequel to Resident Horror, so watch that one before Resident.
Okay, I will do that. I didn't realize that. I thought one was supposed to be a riff on Resident Evil and the other was supposed to be
yes, but they're
the one with the city.
They're related.
Oh, okay. And the last one, which I was saving for last because I was like, this is probably going to be the best out of all these, was low budget espionage project.
That's
Snake.
a really well done one too.
Yeah,
Project Snake.
I love that that's your first impression because when you watch it, you're going to be like, well, I mean, it is indie budget, but nah, that one's actually pretty well done.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because I was like, you can do this on a low budget. Snake just crawls around in a fucking box all the time and he spies. You can do that on cheap.
We're going to have to get you a copy of River City Rumble. That's the one you don't have.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Are there hot girls in it?
No.
Damn.
Lame.
What
There's no hot guys in it either. It's us. People on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I am.
Basically, our group of friends
So sorry.
just did all this shit.
I'm not in any of them, but I have been around with the group so long that I was there when most of them were released.
Yeah.
Joe, are you in any of the ones that I have?
I do commentary on silent horror.
I was really expecting you to say, yeah, I was in the P. Rappa one.
I was supposed to be. I really was. I was supposed to be Joe Chin. I couldn't get off work to travel up to New York to do it.
Damn, that's a shame.
Chad Williams wanted me to be Joe in that one, but nope, couldn't make it.
That's too bad. Joe Chin's a great role.
Chad Williams is puppet master extraordinaire now.
He is. Him and his wife, they're doing great.
Dude, his wife works on Sesame Street.
I know.
Nice.
That's so nuts. Amazing for them.
I didn't know Sesame Street was still on.
Oh yeah. Chad's written books about puppeteering. It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, we have some talented ass friends in our circle of friends.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
That's kind of gross when you think about it.
Ugh.
I still think of Dale North as
Shut up, Chris. You're one of them.
What? No.
He just needs to make something like the Dark Crystal and I'll be happy.
Who, me?
I just think of Dale North from MagFest 1 of just like a chubbier Asian dude who was throwing up into a bathroom and across a hallway at the same time.
The fuck?
Now he's like he did the music for Goof Troop's 16-bit version that Disney is promoting. Like, what? He's working for Disney, Marvel, Nintendo. Dale North is insanely talented.
And a bunch of Japanese studios.
Oh, God. I am so happy for him. Like, he's living his dream. I'm so happy for that guy.
Right on.
Yeah. And, like, honestly, he's a really cool fucking dude. Like, he's a nice guy. He has never, in any of our interactions, come off as, like, even when he got, like, big contracts, he's never been, like, holier than thou in any way, shape, or form. It's really cool.
Good
Some people lose themselves.
Oh, heck yeah.
I lost myself.
I'm
big.
Sorry, in the middle of us all celebrating our friends and friendship and stuff, I just saw the news that Nintendo dropped music from F-Zero, F-Zero X, and Luigi's Mansion on the Nintendo Music app. So, like, that's right on time for my big road trip. I'll be listening to an hour loop of, like, all the F-Zero tracks. Forget 17 hours. We're getting there in 7.
Oh, Jesus. Do you know how fast you're going? I don't know, 140?
Yeah, big loop.
Okay.
I'm already starting going 140.
Like, yeah, the needle only goes up to 140. I don't know. You're the one with the radar, sir.
Is there a reason why you were traveling that fast? Listen to this.
Listen to this, and I play like Firefield, and he's like, "You're free to go, sir."
Apologize, we didn't realize this was an F-Zero situation.
Andy, how have you been?
I've been good, man. I've just been super busy.
What's going on in your life?
Work kind of picked back up again, so I've been doing jobs. The job that I was on is like an hour and a half away or so, which kind of sucks. So that takes up most of my day, and then I've been getting home, and I've been helping like coach the kids' soccer team, and then trying to do like all my other stuff too. You know, spend time with the family and get reviews in and play games. You know, and all the things. So I've been stacked with stuff. You know, at all times. But aside from that, pretty good, man.
Nice.
This is the first time I've been on the show in like probably 3 or 4 weeks or something like that.
It's been a while. And in between there, the Switch 2 got announced. What do you think of all that stuff?
Dude, I don't know, man.
We didn't really talk about the Switch 2 on a Tuesday episode, so let's discuss it. What's everyone think of the Switch 2?
I mean,
did you say disgusted? Just kidding.
Disgusted, dude. I think it looks really cool. I think like I'm a little iffy on some of the specs, you know. The battery life, I'm not a huge fan on, but
yeah,
I mean,
I'm worried about that.
Nintendo always kind of does like their own thing, you know, when it comes to consoles and prices and games like that. So
I
don't know.
Gotta say, is owner
You're breaking up, Chris,
and as a PS5, what? Oh, it's hang on.
I think your internet's getting funky.
I think Mario Kart World looks really cool, and Donkey Kong Bonanza looks badass, man. So
it does.
I'm like really want to get it for those 2 games. Which, you know, hey, if those are the only 2 games I play, like that's cool, man. But
the big one that has my attention for launch is Bravely Default HD.
Oh yeah, that one looks cool.
And that's only a $40 game, so I'm excited about that.
Even better.
Okay, maybe I'm okay.
Think so.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying that, like, re-battery life. I've had a Switch for 8 years with a Pro Controller and a PS5 for, like, about 2 years now. Was it about 2 years or was it 1 year? When did Final Fantasy VII I was just kidding. No, I think I've had it for, like, 2 years now. Anyway, man, does the Pro Controller battery last, like, so much longer than the PS5 controller.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I'm plugging that thing in every session. But like like with the Switch, it's like I could just forget about it for a few days. And it's like, oh, it's red. I only have like, yeah, it's like, oh, it's red now. I only have 10 more hours.
I was going to say, I think Nintendo Pro Controller red low battery lasts longer than a fully charged DualSense 5.
Yeah, like when it gets down to red, it's like that's when you can like start thinking about the battery. That's when you're like, I may consider plugging this in at my next convenience. Whereas PS5, it's like low battery, and then you're like, uh-oh. And then it's like disconnected.
Goodbye.
We warned you. So, I mean, I love both systems, but for sure, I don't worry about Nintendo stuff for battery life.
Too, Chris?
Oh, me?
Like, on everything, yeah.
Well, I gotta say that definitely purchasing it is an inevitability for me. You don't go buying, 1,400 plus games on the Switch 1 just to be like turning your nose up at the Switch 2 for whatever projected reason. It's really like my concern is like how available will it be and at what price, will I be able to afford it before it starts trickling in like a frozen faucet. That I'm worried about the logistics of getting one more. Like I'm worried about that at like 100 and then worried about the Switch itself at like 1.
Yeah.
It's more so than any other Nintendo release. I'm just like, not even like thinking like, oh, well, I'll miss the launch, but I'll get one eventually. They'll be available. Maybe I'll have to wait a whole year, maybe 5 years like I did the PS5. But no, I'm really looking forward to the games. I'm really, really excited actually about Donkey Kong Bonanza because I am not a big Donkey Kong Country fan, but I like Donkey Kong. So I'm really excited to play a Donkey Kong game that's not based on the 30-year-old Rare design. Like it's actually a Nintendo like thing. And it looks really fun. I love destructible environments, and I really am looking forward to seeing what this game lets you get away with. And yeah, everything else just looks really great. Good. I'm absolutely going to buy Final Fantasy VII Remake plus Intergrade for a 4th time because I bought it. I bought the special edition of Remake on the PS4. I bought the digital version on PS5 so I could because I had it on PS Plus and then our PS Plus ran out and I couldn't play it. So I just, instead of worrying about the PS Plus, I just bought it and downloaded it. And then I bought the physical version because I was like, oh, well, this will be convenient for, when PlayStation 7 comes out and, there's no other way to get it, 10, 20, 50 years from now. And then this will be my 4th time buying it. So that's 3 times so far.
Damn.
And then it'll be my 2nd time buying Rebirth whenever that drops. But I'm really looking forward to that and Bravely Default. I was not fooled into thinking it was Final Fantasy IX. I didn't even cross my mind. And then later I saw that everybody was getting mad about it. I was like, well, those women with brown hair, I guess, look all the same to you, huh? So
got him.
I'm gonna hang out with my boy Ring a Bell.
Big Adam, what are your thoughts on the Switch 2?
I'm gonna buy it, and I've learned that I am not nearly easily as bothered by things as other folks are. There was a lot of negativity around the Switch 2 announcements, and I don't care. I'm still gonna buy one.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to look back at the internet through the years to be like, to see all the negativity around each and every console release. Going all the way back to the GameCube. Like, people were such haters on the GameCube when it was current.
I love it.
It's like, look at them now. Now having 3 GameCube games available at launch is like a big selling point for the Switch 2.
That's fair. Yeah.
Pretty good games, though.
Yeah, no.
That Donkey Kong game looks insane.
It looks so good.
I'm really looking forward to it.
I thought that Demon Machina, Titanic Scion
I don't remember what the
good.
I don't remember what the subtitle of it is, but I have the first Demon Ex Machina, and it's very fun. So I actually did play it. It didn't just sit on my shelf forever.
Also, I mean, I can't believe nobody's mentioned it yet, but a FromSoft exclusive is huge.
I've only played Elden Ring as far as FromSoft goes. Well, no, I tell a lie. I played Metal Wolf Chaos, which I did not realize until years later was a FromSoft game. And so Metal Wolf Chaos is currently my favorite FromSoft game, and they have not announced that on Switch 2, so if they do, I will be happy about that.
Didn't they make the original Armored Core line as well?
Yes, the only Armored Core game I played 2 Armored Core things. One was the demo for the first game on a PlayStation disc way back in the day, and I really liked it, but I never played the full game. The second was a thing that my friends came up with. They came up with these really ridiculous video game challenges. It was Armored Core, I want to say 2 on the PlayStation 2, whichever one was on the PlayStation 2. It lets you remap every single input to any kind of thing. So they did kind of a randomizer for the inputs and then put you on a ridiculous death match. Like, they had all kinds of like weird stats and stuff in the death match itself, and your armored cores were very brightly colored and like really neoned out. But the thing is, you had to learn the controls before you could do anything. Like, left could have been the fire button, R2 could be moved forward, any button could be doing anything at the start of the match. So it was very, very funny trying to watch people learn the game in real time.
Did you ever play Kingsfield for PlayStation?
I tried it. I didn't really understand it. I was temporarily working at a video game store for a few months back in 2002. And I never really sought it out.
Yeah, no, they did that too.
Yeah.
They did, what was the GameCube series they did?
Oh, Lost Kingdoms?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, you got me there. I have played the first Lost Kingdoms. Yeah, they're from FromSoft. The other one is there's another one, Eternal Ring on the PlayStation 2, which I do have that one. Okay, so I played more From Software than I thought.
How about the Otogi games on original Xbox?
I didn't play them. Xbox was my Morrowind machine for like 5 years.
The only other thing that I would say might be a gotcha would be their Shadow Assault Tenchu on 360.
I never owned a 360 until recently, so I couldn't.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing I played the most on the 360 to this day is freaking Two Worlds, which is that. Yeah, kind of an Elder Scrolls. Janky. I don't know, really janky. Amazing voice acting and animations and stuff. It's actually a legit pretty fun game, but I mean it's the entire game is a meme. Like, I'm very amazed that people aren't making fun of it on the level they should. I feel like it kind of
I'm amazed at.
What are you amazed at?
GoldenEye and Latino Heat both dropped subs. Trash Rando dropped one before we started the show. Thanks to everyone for subbing and for being here and for everything.
Damn.
Love the company. Love everyone hanging out. Acolyte said they've played Echo Night Beyond.
Nice.
FromSoft.
I never even heard of that one. That's pretty cool. What is that one? I'm gonna look it up.
I have to look that one up.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Your thoughts on the Switch 2?
Mine? Well, I think the obvious starting one is that I do intend to eventually get one, I'm sure. But with that said, I genuinely do believe that people have a reasonable reason to feel concerned about costs of this thing. Not to go deep into the weeds of what we talked about earlier, but shit does cost money. Yeah. And people don't have a ton of money to be burning. So when your escape method is going up in cost again, and in some respects, it's hard to even tell how much of it is tariff based and how much of it is now's a good chance to get that money. So what ends up happening there is you get two schools of thought. You get the folks that'll say, well, my entertainment is worth that money. I don't care. They deserve it. I'm going to pay for it. A lot of those people also probably make bank. So $80 doesn't mean shit to them. The cats working at McDonald's or retail stores and stuff like that, though, $80 is a lot to them, regardless of the fact that they want to spend it or not. So with that said, what I genuinely think is going to happen with that, it's definitely going to happen with me, is am I getting a Switch 2? Most likely, yeah. I want to get myself some Mario Kart World. And even though I have the Steam Deck now, which generally ends up being most of my indie games at this point, and I've lost kind of a draw for the physical stuff because I'll be dead soon. The other thing is that since I'm only really buying it for the Nintendo games, I feel like a lot of people, including myself, are going to be a lot pickier about the stuff they pay full price for. And more things I'll just wait to get on sales or whatever when it's within a price that feels reasonable to their budget, just like kind of like we do now, but at a more extreme level, I think. So
good luck with that because Nintendo doesn't drop prices on self-published stuff.
No.
Oh, but therein lies the rub, right? Therein lies the rub. It's like what I personally said was I'll be getting Nintendo games. So, and knowing that, chances are that's what's going to happen. But I'm not everybody. You got folks who will buy their Switch and then want, the third party stuff, the indie stuff. At which point that's where the more discerning buying will occur, I think. Because, Nintendo's never really been one for sales. And as a result, they've built a reputation of folks saying, I'm just going to pay the Nintendo cost. Though that doesn't mean people won't buy less first party Nintendo games if they can't afford them. If you're choosing between, just to start this out, if you're choosing between Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World, that's a valid choice. Now you're like, which one do I prefer? Whereas maybe if each game was $20 less, that person might be willing to drop to buy them both. So I
see what you're saying, but the world of iPhone exists, and people spend $1,600 every year on a cell phone.
I'll counter that by saying the people that buy $1,600 iPhones are the people that don't care that Nintendo's charging $80 a game.
When that business model makes trillions of dollars a year, what do they care about the Walmart employee's kid? They don't.
I think the big difference there is that the iPhone you could pay monthly.
That's true too, but with that said, there's two parts. There's two parts to that. There's two parts to that. One, I am of the proponent that believes you can still just put money aside if you want to save up for something. You don't need the monthly installments to get it right now. People used to save for their stuff or put things on layaway. So that's not even the concern. But to going back to the original point still, even knowing that they could just as well be saying, fuck poor people, I want money from people who got bling. It doesn't change the fact that it's a valid concern. If
I didn't say it's not valid.
I'm not saying you did. I'm correcting. I'm not saying that you didn't. I'm saying just to make the point noted, it's still a valid concern. Like all of us, I don't think there's a single person on this chat that has no interest in getting a Switch 2. And chances are at least 2 or 3 launch games. Well, Aki's exceptional. I kid.
What about me? I just heard my name.
Exactly. Exceptional. You don't care about Switch 2, do you?
You don't care about Switch 2?
Not even fucking remotely, no.
That's why you're not paying attention, right?
Correct.
That's why I say my name. But
or act like saying you want one for Metroid 4.
No, I want to be able to play Metroid 4. I don't care about owning a Switch. I want them to put it on something the fuck else.
That's not going to happen. So you want a Switch to play Metroid.
That is the most amazing wishful thinking moment I've ever heard in my life.
That is the dream of dreams.
Wait for the Steam version.
Just wait for emulation, I guess, because you ain't buying it on anything else.
You'd sooner get Bloodborne on an original Game Boy than you'll get Metroid on anything. Get all of the
I mean, there was that demake. I could probably get it to play on.
That ran on a PS1, something 700,000 times more powerful than a Game Boy.
Don't get the whole
make it work.
They'll find a fucking way. I'm like, I got this game to work. It's just Sam misfiring a single bullet.
If you can make the entire game of Bloodborne work in a Game Boy game on a Game Boy cartridge using OG hardware, you'd get hired by any game developer on the planet immediately.
These are homebrewers are just going challenge accepted.
You would be paid so much money to go work for a developer, it would be shocking. Like millions of dollars. Because the compression algorithm you would need to write that to make it even fucking work would be so revolutionary. You would have more money than Elon Musk's entire dream, let alone real value.
Having watched freaking Common Side Effects in recent weeks, it's almost as likely you just get shot. Like, that's too powerful. That's too smart. You can't crack that algorithm.
Yeah,
gotta kill you.
You get you'd be living the show. What's it fucking called? Silicon Valley IRL. Like, you'd accidentally make the greatest algorithm in compression ever.
I was pissing on the can, typing into my iPhone when bam, something happened. I didn't get it. But
you get the idea about just you'd get the idea. Metroid. Oh, good lord.
Metroid Prime 4.5 anyway. But yeah.
You guys see that new iPhone Metroid game? It's going to be amazing.
Sweet diggums. But yeah, I'm getting Switch 2 eventually, whether I get one at pre-order or I get one down the line. And I intend to get the Mario Kart game and potentially Donkey Kong, especially if I'm hearing correct that it's from the team that did Odyssey, which means it's likely to feel like a second Odyssey game, which is fine by me. Beyond that, we'll see. I might get a little loosey-goosey and be like, it's like the Switch. I'll go back to the Steam Deck again until something big at Nintendo comes out again. But
I'm such a fucking caveman when it comes to buying video games. I've learned that, especially over the last 6 months. Because it's like, oh, well, this game's made by this developer, so that means X. Or this has this publishing team, so that means Y. And I'm just like, Adam saw picture look fun, me want picture. That's how I buy games.
That's absolutely that's absolutely how I ended up with. That's how I ended up with over 1,400 Switch games. Is I see a video game, I'm like, ooh, video game purchase.
Click.
But that's pretty much me, but with my Steam Deck. I have 4 terabytes on this thing and it's almost full. So I get caveman shopping. I just like buying game. Oh wow, this game is sort of like Shin Megami Tensei 1. I'll buy that
on a Steam Deck.
Yes, I have a 4 terabyte Steam Deck,
and
I use the fuck out of it, and I play the fuck out of it.
What are your thoughts, Pernell, on Switch's storage?
Switch's storage or Switch 2 storage?
Switch 2.
Oh, I'm not gonna like it. It's always too low. Nintendo has never gotten a grasp on how to put an adequate amount of storage on the system. Though with the original Switch, I gave them credit for at least making it a micro SD card because for the most part, it kept pace with me. When I got to 512, terabyte existed. When I got to 1 terabyte maxed out, I had a Steam Deck, and then a 2 terabyte card came out. And I put it in the Steam Deck, but someone like Chris could put that 2 terabyte into his Switch. Did you buy a 2 terabyte micro SD?
Not yet. I got VGM Con to pay for, but
it does exist for you at least should the time come. But now with this new one,
I'll definitely have one by the time I'm ready to retire the Switch one, just so I can try and download as much stuff and keep it on that card as possible. Because I was gonna say, what you were talking about, it got me to thinking about when's the last time I thought about Nintendo and amazing storage capacity in the same sentence, and I pinpointed the exact time. It was when I saw a GameCube memory card with 1,024 blocks of memory.
Was it third party or was it Nintendo's official one?
No, they're the biggest official GameCube memory card. I actually have 2 of them.
Yeah, me worried it was one of those
the white one, wasn't it?
Or something.
It was the white one, yes.
I think I had that too. That was crazy.
But I honestly, in all due honesty, I genuinely, wholeheartedly would like to get into the room with Nintendo's, design team and figure just to learn why they intentionally shortchanged the eternal memory on all systems.
Cost.
I don't get it.
Cost.
But
the answer is cost.
So you say cost, and that's probably it. I don't know, but memory seems to be butt cheap nowadays at the level they're at. Like to get a hard drive with 512 alone would not be tons.
They're not using standard SD as the memory interface.
No, not SD. SD is the Express XD. I'm talking about the onboard memory. What are they using for that?
It is probably DDR6, and it's either probably DDR6 or DDR8 because it's got to be built into the processor itself, a la the MacBook, like M1 architecture. That's pretty much how everybody's doing anything like that anymore. And it's the only reason I think it's one of those two is because it feeds off of the PCIe 4.0 standard, which is like dumb fast. Which is why like the Express SD cards are like NVMe speeds. They're like crazy stupid fast. And
so that's where the cost issue comes in. Then, 'cause they're using top of the line memory that can be added on by the user.
Bleeding
edge technology, and that is the cost downfall of memory that they are facing right now.
Just trading big for fast.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I just think
that's the kind of answer I wanted. Oh, it's definitely going to matter, but it's going to be a weird thing where either A, they come out with faster, Express SDs down the line for people to buy and swap, or they eventually release another Switch 2 that has larger memory once, cost catches up.
Yeah, and an OLED screen. That'll be in 2 years.
It really depends on the use case, right? Because there are use cases of psychopaths like you guys who have to have immediate availability of 5,000 video games. And if it's not immediately available at your fingertips without downloading or even a beckoning whistle, you have a heart attack.
Don't talk to me or my analog pocket with its 400 micro SD card ever again.
You're an animal. Like there's also people in the world very much like me that can't even fathom the idea of playing more than 3 games at one time, or their heads will explode.
My games need to be accessible at all times.
I understand that it's essentially your binky. I get it. That's not everybody's problem.
That almost feels like a jab as opposed to an insight. Now, with that said, what I would say is, if I have access to it, I fucking want it. If I don't have access to it, I can deal with that. The fact that you're trying to chastise people for using what they have access to is absolutely
chastising. I said that there's 2 different kinds of people out there. So the fact that you're saying my use case is invalid is asinine.
Incorrect. I never said anybody's use is invalid. I'm saying if I want to have
you should just fucking get this sexual tension over with.
You should buy a Switch too,
That's
Aki.
the thing. Not everything's about fucking. You should just go watch porn while we talk about video games.
I mean,
I love
I can do that too. That's actually
you should
easy.
I highly suggest you continue to tune out and just watch porn in the meantime. That's what you really need.
I'm loading up some porn.
I appreciate that.
I'm not saying anybody's use case is invalid. I'm just saying the system is wrong because it doesn't meet your personal need is odd to me. That is my opinion.
Anyone said it was wrong?
I agree with Joe on that. I never said it was wrong.
I've heard a lot of people say that it was wrong.
I think everyone is wrong.
Ass buckets, man.
I think everybody's wrong pretty much at all times.
The internet's going to have people.
Micro SD card that's appeared
in
chat.
With that said, though, it's like I said. If I bought the system and I use the system, I'm going to use it to the limitations they make available to me. If they give me access to grander options, then I'll take advantage of those too, because they are now afforded to me. Now, with that said, And again, we can all kind of agree here that the fringe case on the internet is full of shit half the time with their everything has to be about me and nothing else. That's something else. But as far as here goes, I think it's reasonable to just say if a company produces a product and the cost is something that you can reasonably afford personally, you will use it to the ends that the company gives you access to. And if you can go beyond that, whether by official or unofficial means, you'll do that.
I don't think anybody is arguing that at all.
I agree with that. I think so too. But I wanted to state it just to make it known that I feel like at the end we're all pretty much on the same page. It's just one of those things where I just wanted to get. It's like I don't know. Sometimes when you hear things like like apes or whatever, it's like whoa, slow down. I'm not.
The other thing is, if they would have made it, let's say, a terabyte of onboard storage, A, people would have still complained about it not being 9 terabytes, and B, the increase in cost on per unit that would have made the system would have made it vastly more financially unattainable by the people you were defending not too long ago.
Especially in this political climate.
This is a cake and eat it too scenario where you got to kind of take what they give you and look at the bright side. You know what I mean? Because if they wanted to put another terabyte storage in there, I guarantee you this console would cost $700, and the internet would have lost its collective fucking
Nintendo
mind.
$700 for a Nintendo machine. That's games. They make games for kids.
The internet would have exploded itself. Like,
dude, it's already going to be $700 in a couple days. Once they announce the tariff prices.
Then it would have been $1,000. Do you get what I'm trying to tell you here? Like,
the only reason I would pay $700 for a game console is if it came with a copy of Zelda Faces or Link Faces of Evil.
Fair.
Yeah, because that's.
I think it should have been minimum $512. And I think
I kind of agree that it should have been minimum of $512. But then when the system drops, like, I don't also want to see the complaints of, well, this is crazy expensive. Why is Nintendo being greedy? They're not being greedy. They're charging because they're using bleeding edge technology that they're probably going to try to take advantage of later down the line, as Nintendo tends to do. And, yada, yada, yada. It's the system is cheaper for everyone because they cut that corner. Did they cut a corner? Absolutely. 100% agree. But arguing that it should have been bigger then tends to spit in the face of the argument of cost, because you're arguing for the baseline cost to have been more.
Okay, then why are
I will say real quick,
2 different versions in Japan?
Wait, I thought there's only one in Japan. What's the second?
Region locked and multi-language.
They're offering the multi-language one in Japan too. I thought that was very specifically for outside of Japan, and I thought the reason for that
cost.
I heard was for the weak yen. But I heard that was due to the weak yen. They want to region lock it again. Keep in mind, this is all speculation because I've heard no company official say anything.
Yeah, I don't know anything about region locking. I haven't heard anything about that, and I also don't have one in my hands, so I can't tell you all that much about it.
What they announced was that, just like Joe said, there's going to be 2 versions of it. There's going to be one that's only sold in Japan. That one's going to sell for like $350 because basically it's whatever base cost they had provided for the system initially. Everyone else, every other country is getting the multi-language version. And that's the one that got the cost announcement that we heard and then now has been retracted for tariff checks and stuff. So,
well, then just get a Japanese one imported.
Japanese one is region locked to Japan only.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying that's why
only, Japan store only.
And that's why
I mean, for the first week of launch until that gets cracked, are you kidding me?
Well, even
I don't think it's going to get cracked. This is Nintendo.
No. Well, who knows? Like I said, I still think the genuine reasoning behind it sticks with the fact that it's Japan specific, because by doing that, they can focus solely on the value of the yen, and the community that uses the yen to price it, and then everything else can be handled, outside. And of course, the reason why they wanted to keep it Japan locked in that regard and not region free is because you get people like us who would say, well, just import the Japanese one and play my games on there. So yeah, people will eventually crack it someday, but
I mean, if you just learn to speak Japanese, you can access the Japan Nintendo
Japanese
e-store anywhere.
It's so easy.
You learn how to
anyone can do it.
Go learn Japanese on Duolingo. Get after it, homie.
Anyone can do it. It's so easy. That's me. Don't take it from me. Joe Namath.
There are fixes to the problem, is what I'm saying.
Yes, learn an entire language to save $140.
I'll do it.
Crazy, dude.
If it's worth it.
I got a long drive ahead of me. I got this.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would be extremely useful for me to learn Japanese, actually, in like many, many different ways.
That suggestion would be improving your life, is what you're telling me. Okay. I'll take credit for that. Okay.
I don't think I've argued with you on any point. So you're like doing this smug talk at me, and I'm like, dude, I think I'm on your side.
No, I was doing smug talk at everybody else, not you, Chris.
Right on.
You're an angel.
Oh well, thank you. Likewise, but also, I was just gonna say, like, my theory is a little bit kind of just coming from like a tech customer support, like kind of mentality. I'm just thinking that like it's region locked because they have so many new like social features now that I feel like they're gonna probably have like a lot of special stuff in those Japanese units that isn't really going to be able to translate to the other regions and stuff. I don't know what, but it feels to me like it may be tied into like the new social interactions that they're like really touting, or they really touted in that direct, which I'm pretty excited about, actually.
There's only 2 versions. There's not a European version, or there's not a Spanish version, a French version. It's just
I don't know.
Japanese
I just feel
only
like
and 16 languages.
And multi-language.
They're taking care of the home team.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know, but I feel like that might have something to do with it.
It boils down to them taking care of the home team. Unfortunately, our side does that too.
It at home for $337. Why is it $140 more the rest of the world?
Because
keep in mind, that's what I heard at the time.
They're making Japan great again.
What I'd heard people say before, whether it's true or not, is that the original price we heard was an attempt at taking into account the tariffs that were already announced before the new tariffs that were announced a day before the Switch 2 actual announcement. And if you do the crack on the numbers, you get to about 20%. So it makes it's reasonable to believe that that's where that original cost came from. It was based on the projections of the original tariffs that they had. So
you know what I've always said? Keep politics out of my goddamn video games.
Yeah.
I wish I could.
I still think it should have been 512.
It should have been 512, but we would have a different
I've been trying to make this point
cost.
for like 40 minutes now. Why can't we put a Switch 1 card in a Switch 2 and play Switch 1 games?
We can't?
Because Nintendo wants you to buy consoles.
Wait. You can't Switch 1 games on it? They stated that?
Yeah.
It has.
I'm pretty sure you can.
It has limited backwards compatibility, like Xbox, is what I understood from the Direct. But some of the games will have enhancements you can purchase using a Switch 1
They have to be on the new cards, though, don't they?
No,
that's not what I heard.
No, you download
the new cards were just
you download it, and the old card becomes like the access to it.
No, I'm talking the SD micro. You have to use the new SD micro cards, though.
Yeah, for your memories. Because they're the extra fast
ones. Put an old one in.
Oh,
play Switch 1 games.
That makes sense though, because it needs to have the correct read and write speed for like the amount of juice they're like moving through that system. Like that's anything. That's cameras, you know.
It should be able to handle a lower powered card and play lower powered games, should it not?
Maybe.
I'm
probably can.
I'm learning this through you. If you guys heard that officially, to my understanding, is backwards compatible with Switch games.
And the games, yes.
Switch games.
Not the games, yes. The memory cards, no. So that's what Joe's saying.
Oh, the memory cards, yeah, they already said it's read and write speed specific. So I'm not even worried about that. That's just how it's going to be. That's how it normally goes with that stuff. I'm not. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not asking to play Switch 2 games off an old card. I'm asking why we can't play Switch 1 games off an old card.
That's what we're saying. It's read and write speed of the actual port. Whether or not it's like they wanted to not have it so you could do multiple things on it, I don't know. But it's just optimized for that type of card. Am I happy that I gotta get another card? Obviously not. But
Adam, you're the computer guy. Does that make sense?
What Pernell's saying is 100% correct. It's like trying to stick a Blu-ray into a CD player and being like, WTF, mate, why isn't this working? It's
no, this is putting a CD player into a Blu-ray player.
No, it's
literally
what I'm asking to do is putting the CD into a Blu-ray player. Actually putting a DVD
Are you talking? Okay, hold on. Let's get away from dumb analogies that I tried to use.
Old card, new system. Old games, new system.
So with that said,
do you understand that the Nintendo Switch uses two things that are both referred to as cards? Game cards
SD. I've been saying micro SD.
Okay, so
this whole time, the micro SDs. Why can't you use an old micro SD to play old games on a Switch 2?
Because the Switch 2's port doesn't know how to read that data.
That's what I've been asking.
We've tried to say that like 5 times. Yeah. I think 3 people have said that in different ways. The port on the Switch 2 is not capable of reading the slower speeds. It doesn't know how. It's like
that's what I was asking you to confirm, Adam, because you're the computer guy. Thank you for confirming that.
I'm looking for a Maserati, and you handed me a Pinto. What is this? Yeah, it's all bleeding edge new tech, and if they would have increased it, it would have cost more. Now that they didn't increase it, it's costing less. But because of the stupid fucking government, it's costing more, making literally everything a nightmare scenario in the Switch world. Like it's probably the worst time in the history of video gaming to announce a new console. Like
for sure.
Honestly, shame on them.
PS5 was pretty bad too.
Like shame on them for announcing it. Like honestly, at this time. With the financial instability in the world, it was probably the dumbest financial move on Nintendo's part to announce anything having to do with a price point. Like, be it a new console, any kind of games, anything having to do with money, shut the fuck up and just be happy Nintendo while the world explodes around you. Don't draw the limelight to yourself. Good Christ, what a dumb business move. They should have fucking held everything until the world stabilized a little bit.
Yeah.
And not try to announce, hey, we want you guys to spend new console money that is going to be deemed expensive by anybody's standards while the financial universe is exploding. Who had that fucking idea? Like, shame on Nintendo.
It makes you kind of wonder, like, how close to the edge were they regarding, like, sales and profits? Because, like, I'm not sure. I don't follow the sales or whatnot, but I'm not sure how well Switch stuff is selling anymore. I wager not too well because the saturated market regarding people who had wanted that product had already bought it, and not many games coming out beyond that point.
Well, so, if I were to weigh the positive PR against the negative PR has won hand over fucking fist with this announcement. The negative PR has dominated the news cycles.
No.
I don't know.
By a vast margin.
They're a company that's worth over $70 billion, so I'm kind of like, well, they're probably know more than I do.
I mean, again, because they're a global company, they have reached all over the world, and they can kind of do whatever the fuck they want, as we've seen.
Yeah.
But I think it was a horrible time. I desperately wish they wouldn't have announced anything. Just like, hey, we're postponing Switch 2 until the world stabilizes. Like, we don't want X, Y, and Z, because that would have done two things, right? It would have stabilized the market, so they would have been able to actually announce a price and not have to turn around and cancel that price announcement because it's now unsure. And two, the new technology that they want to use for the data reading and NVMe and the PCIe 4.0 standard would have more time to fucking suss itself out, and bigger cards other than 1 terabyte would exist. 1 terabyte was debuted like 2 months ago. Like that's
like
$200.
I feel like this is a good
crazy expensive.
This is a good opportunity to get on the phone in the morning and call your local congressman, House of Representatives, or your senator's office. Let them know that you're mad at Nintendo because
be
Nintendo's
sure to leave them
screwing
that voicemail. Yep.
and you're just not going to take it anymore.
They're not going to take it.
Oh, and while you're on the phone,
we don't need 700% tariffs on Japan. No, don't do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe mention a little something about that political situation. Just while you got him on the phone, just be like, "Oh, by the way, before I let you go,"
because at this point, I'm pretty sure every time any politician hears the name of another country, the tariff just goes up. So I'm like horrified to even recommend people do that anymore.
What do you guys think of that welcome game being $10?
That's
fine
stupid.
with it.
What's dumb?
I'm not buying that.
That should be software that came with the system.
If
They
if
should
Reggie was
not
still there, it would have been. If
They
Reggie was
should
still
not
there, it would have
fucking
been.
charge for the tutorial on what the system is capable of. That's dumb, and I will say that's dumb.
Cool. We're all on the same page with that one.
I said I was fine with it, but also I do think it is dumb, but it's kind of nostalgic, like the dumbness of it. Like, I don't know, it takes me back to like the DS days and like all that kind of stuff that you would like. Remember having to buy a Nintendo DS browser?
Yeah.
For $29.99?
I remember
I wish
being a
I knew,
thing,
'cause I
but I
didn't
didn't
buy it.
buy it.
I didn't
Right.
buy
Like,
it.
No, but I just mean remember that was a thing.
I will say the one time I bought the air quotes tutorial game, I did buy Nintendo Land. That's about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think people bought Nintendo Land. I mean, it's like whatever.
I will never be the person that pays for a tutorial game. That's just this is how the system works. Pay $10 to learn. Like what? No, I just spent $600 on the console.
I will say by that logic, one thing that, at least in my case, that Nintendo Land had going for it was that when I bought it, I didn't perceive it as being the tutorial game. I was like, oh, cool little mini games thing. I like that idea. Of
it
course,
seemed like there's mini games in it.
No, it's tons of them, but you could perceive it as also being these are the things that the Wii U was capable of, and we masked it with a bunch of mini games. This new game is very clearly called Welcome Tour. There's no mistaking it as anything but this is us welcoming you to the capabilities of the Switch 2.
You know what I mean? Like, they didn't even mask it.
It's like, Welcome Tour.
That's wild to me.
Usually when I get a Welcome Tour, I get it when I show up. I don't pay for it. You just give it to me. That's just the way it works. I'm at a hotel.
Honestly,
new state, new city. Welcome.
Going back to my Apple analogy, that's very Apple of them. Like, we're gonna nickel and dime you anywhere we can with this son of a bitch. Let me tell you.
Oh man. Ugh.
But yeah, no, like the cost argument and the storage argument are valid. I get all sides of it. I really, truly do. But those arguments, because of how new the technology is, kind of spit in the face of one another. Can't have one without the other kind of thing, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it makes it tough.
Like I said, I have no anger left in my body for the likes of Nintendo, because
that's also kind of how I feel. Yeah,
it is all directed and like laser focused on exactly one political party that is ruining everything for everybody and everyone.
That's fair.
So, I got nothing left for Nintendo. I'm just like, they're a whimsical $70 billion company, and if they weren't around, I might not be either.
A whimsical. Now that's a hilarious way to put it.
That is quite the sentence right there. I like that.
A whimsical $70 billion.
Christmas.
Hi guys, it's me, Nintendo.
I mean, does that sound like another $1 billion franchise to you?
It's me, Mr. Nintendo.
That sounds like a significantly more than $1 billion franchise, but yes.
Oh, God.
It's me, Mr. Nintendo.
All right, we've been chatting for a while. We should probably get to our reviews because we gotta handle that shit still.
Get out of here soon. I have a long day tomorrow. I have to go to Baltimore tomorrow night. Dadgummit.
I have a long day tomorrow. I have to go to Minneapolis.
I got a long day tomorrow. I got to wake up.
I'm going.
I got a long day tomorrow. I got to cry
KEW.
about not going to VGM Con.
Well, don't cry about it. I mean, be upset about it. That's valid as hell.
You want to?
Hey,
You're
man.
valid for crying about it.
But a big positive,
Because my
though,
day's
don't
gonna be
they?
48 hours.
On the positive, at least, don't they live stream on that stuff? At least for the concerts, they record them all, so you can still at least get that component of the show.
Yeah, I just can't hang out with friends, which is what
I'll tell you. I will be honest. Like the live streaming stuff is awesome, but for somebody like me, if I'm not at the event, watching the live stream is almost worse because then I'm like, oh, God damn it. When they all leave the stage, I know exactly where they're going and I know where they're going to hang out and what they're going to do. And yeah, no, I understand Joe's point about that for sure.
Yeah, so I'm just going to watch wrestling tomorrow probably with Tim. That's it.
Did Matt and Vicky get tickets? I don't know if they did or not.
I don't know.
If not, they'll be around.
I guess we'll find out.
And you'll get a John Bennett, of course.
Oh, God. Thank God.
Yeah,
really?
Of course.
But we'll have Matt, so...
Fuck you, Spider-Man!
Well, you always have Matt and his Spider-Man rage.
We do. Right, Matt?
What?
Good job, drug dealers. Or drug addicts.
Good job, drug addicts.
All right, yeah,
one last thing. Just because I'm the way I am, everybody's still good after that ridiculous argument we had earlier, right?
Yeah.
I'm never not good.
That was great.
That's why I like
there was an argument?
I love that. That's just wanted to make sure.
This is my mood.
I like that mood. It makes me feel like a big man.
It is. God, we are approaching Double or Nothing season. Everything is good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Wrestling's good.
I'm going to meet Hangman Adam Page's family. What is happening? I'm so excited for tomorrow. I'm sorry.
I can't believe that's happening for you. That's so
I'm
fucking
hard geeking out about tomorrow.
Like, you've got to meet Hangman, right? Being with his family.
I'm not assuming anything. I'm going to an AEW show with my friend Dave, who invited me to go with Hangman Adam Page's family to sit with. And I'm just going to go and allow the night to take me. If I get to meet Hangman, I might poop a little. I might actually.
Some people pee a little. This is a new one for me.
I might drop a minute amount of deuce. You know what I'm saying? Just a tiny bit of a turn.
Oh my God! Some people piss themselves. Adam he doubles down with a number 2.
You know, I might hit him with the rablet niblets. You know what I'm saying? Like pellet cameras. Just hit him with the BB gun rapid fire.
Have a handful of whoppers in your underwear.
That's dude. Smaller. You got to think smaller scale.
Raisinets. You know what I mean? Okay.
Raisinets. Yeah, that's okay. Now we're getting into the realm of reality.
So reviews.
Let's do it.
This show's fucking crazy.
I've played a video game before.
All right, let's get to this. First game to talk about tonight is Wreckfest 2, developed by Bugbear, published by THQ Nordic, released March 20th on Steam Early Access for $29.99. Ready for mayhem? Wreckfest is back, offering the best in full contact racing with unrivaled destruction. Witness head-to-head battles as you tear apart rival vehicles bit by bit, powered by the enhanced physics engine developed by the creators of Wreckfest and Flat Out. Adam, tell us about your time with Wreckfest 2.
Well, I guess this is a bad time to continue talking about shitting myself while meeting a wrestler, right? No, like is this bad timing? Okay, no. Wreckfest 2. So they preemptively, I will say this: when we got the keys that we were gifted, we were sent on a little PR package that came with just a simple PDF file. Like, welcome you to the test, welcome to the early access, yada yada yada. But then it went on to talk about something that I thought was really cool, and I'll get back into a little bit later in the review. But they said knowingly, like, hey, this is essentially a tech demo that we are putting on sale for a discounted price, that we are going to work with you as the player base on to improve the game and get what you want out of the game. There's like the thing that they learned most from Wreckfest 1 is the people that love that game truly love that game, and the people that are dedicated to it are really passionate, and they really actually have a good idea of where the game should go. So they want to put that into practice with a new game as opposed to a finished game that they are then adding things onto. So that brings us, into the software itself. And right now, it is fairly basic. There's only, four tracks and at this point, and I think there's 4 cars at this point, 4 or 5 cars at this point. And obviously there's like different modes you can do on each of the courses, between banger racing, which is your standard lap racing, try to get in first place with the added benefit of crashing the shit out of other people. And then there's your standard demolition derby mode where you can go in and there's no laps to be had. It's just last car standing, try to wreck everybody out and, keep your car in good shape as long as you possibly can. The tracks right now are kind of basic, but they are really fun. I mean, even down to the simple motor speedway, which you can either do just a straight up oval race on, or you can do the classic demolition derby style figure 8 race, which I've had a lot of fun playing online. The new physics engine is fantastic. The demolition of the cars is absolutely bonkers. Depending on how realistic you allow that to affect the car, you really start to have some problems. Because, you can pop a tire, but then if you pop a tire, you don't have to take more damage for that tire to fall off the rim. It will just fall off the rim after it's been flat for a while, like the tire is shredding itself. So the physics engine and the game engine itself are intelligent and working hand in hand with what you see to give you kind of that better, more realistic kind of feeling while still maintaining the ease of an arcade racer to play, which is really cool. I love that. There's really no penalty for using any kind of assists in the game, and it at this point doesn't even show online who is using what level of assists, so it's not like blowing your spot up. If you got to use easy mode, get after it and use easy mode, because it plays just like an arcade racer, with the exception of your car can get, annihilated.
And it will.
And it will. It absolutely will. Many, many, many times over. There's, like I said, there's I think there's either 5 or 6 cars in it currently. And all of them, there's a couple of the classics in there. The Road Slayer was the most popular car, I think, and the Rocket from the last game. And they make their triumphant return. There's also some cars that they're actually in the middle of workshopping that just have the name American 1 and European 1. And they are basically, one looks like a Chevy Cavalier, the American one, and the European one looks like the old kind of boxier style Volkswagen, like GTI or Golf, is what I would kind of place that as. So they're pretty cool, and they look like they come out of junkyards. You know what I mean? So they're all kind of grimy and beat up and rendered really well. The game is absolutely gorgeous. That's another big upgrade. The visual upgrade from Wreckfest 1 is pretty great. It's way prettier. There is some work to be done, I'll say, on the online side, because I did notice that when a new player is joining, that buffering period that happens while they're like actively connecting to the server sometimes will actually knock the game down to 30 frames per second, I guess, to maintain gameplay. But visually, is that shit jarring? Holy cow. So, you know, again, it's still in early access. There's a lot to be done. There can be some improvements. Connecting to servers sometimes gets a little wonky. I think the server screen could use a refresh. The UI is a little ultra basic. I know connecting to certain matches every now and again, I would definitely have issues. I'd also like to see a region filter. I think that would be relatively easy to do, or even some kind of just simple filter set to filter out, you know, empty servers and full servers, and to give you a better opportunity to connect to stuff that's in your region, so your ping's not super high.
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, the servers are worldwide right now, which is fine, right? It's going to be a smaller player base because it's still early access. So, like, I get why they're doing what they're doing and keeping it kind of all one big area. And I didn't really run into any ping issues when I did connect to what I assumed to be European servers, as they were labeled that way. But I was definitely higher than, you know, you would hope to be in a multiplayer online game. Two things that I wanted to note before I wrap up. One is, while there's no campaign as of right now, the single player is pretty much just kind of getting used to how the game works before you jump into multiplayer. But there is a track or a course that is called the testing area. And the testing area is like a flat white grid area that you would have, you know, like a developer screen area where it's just the physics. But they have like crazy shit set up, like car smushers and grinders and loop-de-loops and like stuff, the ramps to jump your car off of, and like height markers to like see how high you can get. And it really truly took me back to a place that I haven't been since. Do you guys remember Rush 2049 on N64 and the stunt arena? That you could just go into the stunt arena that was all multicolored and just like kind of do crazy jumps and corkscrews and stuff. It feels exactly like that. I played that for an hour by myself, just messing with the weird developer-esque shit that they put in the testing grounds, just to see what was out there. And the area is fucking huge. It's huge. It just kind of keeps going with different stuff to do. Like I loaded it in and I was like, oh, cool, look, there's like some Skytrack stuff that you would find in like GTA Online to like, you know, navigate a thin path in the air. And then there's like ramps and stuff like that. Stuff you would expect in a car game. But then like you go around like a corner and like there's a big hydraulic car muncher that you can just like drive your car through, and it smashes the dog shit out of it while you're driving through it. It's awesome. It's really cool. It's I feel like that was the developer playground where they were like messing with the physics engine, messing with the handling engines, making sure that you weren't like jumping into space for QA purposes. And they were like, actually, this is kind of like a dope little zone. Let's just chuck it in the game. Who the hell cares? You know what I mean? Like, because that's what it feels like. It feels like you're not. I'm not supposed to be here, but it's very clearly in the game. So obviously you're allowed to play it. But it's one of them kind of things. And it really took me back to like childhood N64 days, specifically playing Rush 2049 with my cousin Ian, who some of you have met at MagFest. It was really cool. And I am, just like a lot of the people, you know, on this podcast right now, I am an absolute nostalgia junkie. And when I had that gut feeling like, oh man, this is like playing 2049 with Ian, I was sold. I was like, this game needs to be purchased by everybody. Joe, does this game need to be purchased? Adam, yes, the fuck it does. Buy it. It's only $30 right now. I think it's it's either 25 or 30 right now. If you like
$29.99. Yep.
Okay, $30. If you like fun arcade racers, get this game. And I know that this game is going to have a future because as of right now, as of the recording of this live podcast, and if you're listening on YouTube, it's probably still happening at least early on in the release of this. There is a survey built into the game that is the developers saying, hey, this is what we've released so far. Now that you've played it, let us know what you want to see us do next. Do you want to see crazy courses? Do you want to see crazy cars? Do you prefer these kinds of cars? What do you like? What do you not like? Where would you like to see the direction of the game go? Tell us, and that is our mission. And I think that fucking rules. I don't recall ever seeing a racing game, at least, with this kind of developer interaction with the fan base and basically saying, you guys give us money to play our games. That means that you guys pay our bills. You tell us what you want in this video game, and that's what we're going to make. I think that rules.
That is badass. Looking at their patch roadmap, they are saying in May they're going to be adding 2 new tracks and 2 new cars.
Yep.
And after that, it's up to the community to say what you want.
Absolutely.
So get involved if it sounds like your kind of game. Adam, it sounds like you might like this one.
I give it, if I had a third thumb, it would be sky high right now. This is a hard 2 thumbs up, 5-star review from the racing game enthusiast of the SML podcast, Big Adam Chase.
Very good. Adam, thank you so much for coming on, doing your thing. We will let you get going.
You're very welcome.
Take a lot of fucking pictures tomorrow.
I will, and you know that I'll post them to our special channel. So
if you can, just get Hangman to do a recording that says, what the fuck is the SML podcast?
I don't know if I'm going to meet him. I'm not counting my chickens. I'm not counting any chickens before they're hatched.
Well, then get his mom to do it.
I'm going to sit next to Dave like a gentleman, and I'm going to buy Dave and his lovely girlfriend a soft pretzel to thank them for including me. And if opportunities arise that I am allowed to be a part of, then I will stay in Baltimore to be a part of those opportunities. That's all I'm saying.
Sounds good. Have yourself a good time, man.
Y'all have a fun show. Thanks for having me again, and I'll catch you next time.
Laters.
Good night.
Peace. All right. Next up, Mother Machine, developed and published by Maschinen-Mensch. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, you did.
Released March 26th on Steam for $14.99. Climb, jump, and explore procedurally generated alien caves in this 1 to 4 player co-op action RPG platformer. Customize your cute gremlin, embrace the creative chaos, and unlock a vast array of mutations to shape your personal playstyle and role in a group. Andy, tell us about it.
Well, Joe, in Mother Machine, you play as a cute and cuddly alien creature that loves to eat literally everything. Similar to a gremlin, but lucky for you, there's not going to be any multiplication mishaps if you eat after midnight. So that's pretty good. I would still avoid water, though, and definitely avoid acid pools, because those are bad for your health in general. But you've been created by the all-powerful robot known simply as Mother, who loves you and asks only that you do her bidding without question, which is definitely not foreboding at all. As a Mother Machine alien child, you will be tasked with exploring procedurally generated alien caves full of fauna, biodiversity, hostile creatures, and sometimes even other machines. It's up to you to climb, which you climb literally everywhere in this game. Crawl, swing, and pretty much utilize everything you come across in order to complete your level mission and make your mother happy. Missions generally lean toward getting more satellites online to increase Mother's reach, but are based on explorative puzzles, pest control, escort situations, and you even encounter a few other hostile machines along the way too. Completing missions will also unlock new mutations, customizations. Customizations are strictly aesthetic, but mutations offer a unique twist to...
Unique.
Hold on. Unique. There we go. Chris?
Unique.
There it is. Offer a twist to the overall gameplay. You'll be able to equip a special mutation at the beginning of each level to help progress your character through that said level. Which more mutations can be unlocked by eating certain radioactive plants found in the levels. You get anything from a healing fart cloud, a spike attack, acid breath, or glowing sweat. Yeah, it's a lot of those. A lot of them are fart based or throw up based or glowy sweat based. It's pretty great so far. Each mutation is categorized by either an attack or like a supportive type ability too. So currently there's 18, including the DLC, and you'll basically use your abilities. It kind of depends on your character. So you got to make sure you eat everything. And then if you have a full stomach, you're able to use those mutant abilities. So eating stuff will also, because I mentioned earlier, you literally eat just about anything, any aliens or like plant life or things like that too. Some things will heal your character. Some things will increase your stamina. Some things will make you glow in the dark too to help explore caves. The game has the ability to be played in single player mode, which I've done a lot of. Thank you, Joe, and thank you to Maschinen-Mensch, right? For the extra code. I think so, yeah. For the extra code too, so that I could play with some friends too. I also played there's couch co-op as well too, and I played a little bit of that too, which was really fun. You can play a single player mode, but it's definitely designed for multiplayer. And your friends can kind of dial in and figure out what your role in the group is, like using your unlocked abilities too. Multiplayer is done with like kind of an easy hop in connection. You kind of see, everybody that's currently like online, it is a little finicky and connections are a little unstable at times. And if I'm playing and hosting a game, and my connection drops, then everybody drops too, which kind of sucks sometimes, but luckily like it didn't happen a lot. And we just kind of, anytime I played like multiplayer, we just kind of see whoever had the better connection. I never played with any more than like one other person, so 2 player, but it does go up to 4 as well too. Along the way in the levels, you'll collect crystals, which can be used to upgrade your gremlin with things like increased jump strength, bigger bellies, permanent stamina increase, or more hearts. These are unlocked at little hub stations. They look like a little pill in the level, and just kind of randomized depending on the level itself. I mean, everything is used to kind of help unlock more exploration. The idea basically is to run around, explore the whole map. Like I said, collect the crystals, upgrade your guy, and try to get like enough energy, which you'll use crystals to get energy in the game as well. And then once you get back to the main hub world, you can use the energy that you've gained to kind of like customize your character a little bit more. And that's kind of like the gameplay. There is a story that it takes you through to. As I mentioned before, the mother machine is a little ominous, but it's not super heavy into it. It just kind of like guides you through where you go. It's very colorful. It's really easy to pick up and play. As I mentioned before, that multiplayer up to 4 people, which is cool. It's very like simple, if sometimes repetitive gameplay. Levels are procedurally generated, so it definitely changes the level or the design or anything like that too. nothing groundbreaking, but it's a fun game, it's a silly game. I also am not really sure. So I ended up beating it today, which was kind of neat. I'm not really sure what the replay value is. It's a fun game, but I'm also hoping for kind of more DLC in the future too. I know the game was released and it also came out with DLC like pretty quickly too, right?
They have a free DLC called Misty Grove.
Yeah, so I think that's the one we got.
It's the only DLC I'm seeing.
That's the only DLC, yeah. So it came out March 26th, so not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and then it's already has a free DLC. So I'm hoping more free DLCs. If they expanded on it, I would be down for more paid DLCs, even if it was kind of cheap. The game is
playable
fun.
on Steam Deck. Pernell.
There you go, Pernell.
Pernell likes games that are playable on the Steam Deck.
Yes, he does.
Very.
Yes, he does.
Andy, let's talk about price on this bad boy. It's $15. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm kind of a why not? Like it was really fun. I enjoyed playing. I like there's some things that I wish they would do to kind of improve it. Maybe more content or one of the things that I kind of ran into as well was like I was doing co-op with my partner L, and I wanted to bring in more people, and you can't really do co-op and also online play as well too, which kind of seems a little goofy for a game like this too. Yeah. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I got probably about 8 hours into it before I beat it. And I had a good time. There's lots of achievements too that are a little grindy, but some of them are pretty fun to go get.
Cool. Duck Noose in chat saying story mode is short. It's meant for friends with friends. Fast run through, worth it for the price. Fun as fuck. Worth $15.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, 20 is a no go. Yeah, I wouldn't pay 20 for it, but at $15, yeah, I'd pick this up. I've definitely picked up some terrible games. Not that this is a terrible game, but terrible games at $15. This one was pretty fun. I liked all the customizations too. Those were kind of neat. Kind of like you're like big dicking people by showing them you can put some grinding in.
Cool. Well, Andy, I want to thank you for coming on. We'll let you get going so you could go hang out with your family. Unless you had more time to waste with us, it's up to you.
No, I should probably go spend some time with him. I don't get to see him very often, but I appreciate it, man, dude. It's great to be back, man. I missed you guys. Hopefully next Tuesday I'll be able to hop on. If not, I'll send you a video review or something. Tell you some jokes or something.
It's a pleasure to have you back.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
Have yourself a good night, man.
You too. Later, dudes.
See ya.
All right, next up, Twilight Monk, developed by Aquatic Moon Games, published by Gravity Game Arise, released March 26th on Switch and Steam for $19.99. Embark on a quest to recover the 3 rings of the Triskelion as the last descendant of the ancient kung fu warriors in Twilight Monk. Experience a richly crafted Metroidvania, Pernell's favorite word, RPG with intricately crafted dungeons linked across a vast overworld spanning multiple continents. Pernell, what's Twilight Monk?
Metroidvania. So the game Twilight Monk is more akin, in my opinion, to more like the Zelda 2 style of gameplay, but with more adventure in addition to the action. You play as Raziel, who has the titular, I guess it's not really titular because it's not in the title, but it's basically a Twilight pillar. And this pillar makes up the core of the gameplay. You are able to use it to basically, it's attached to a chain, and you can use it like a morning star to kind of throw at people and do damage to them. You can set the pillar on the ground to use as a stepping stone to get to other places. And you can also use it as kind of trigger switches and the like. And that's just the base level aspect of things you can do with the pillar. You unlock more abilities bit by bit as you play through the game. Nothing crazy, but still, hey, my builder is able to do more things. As you play through the game, as you mentioned before, you're trying to acquire these 3 sacred rings to stop, the revival of an ancient evil. And this is done by traversing a series of regions. Regions are broken up on an overworld map of sorts that you can run between as you progress through the game. And as you're running on this map, you will occasionally come across little shadow jerks that will run up on you on said map. And if they approach you and connect, you'll enter a 2D side-scrolling battle sequence a la The Legend of Zelda 2. The Adventure of Link, to be specific. Some of these can be a little more like complicated, like with ladders and elevation. And in other cases, it might just be left to right stage with some hills or whatever. But at the end of the day, you kill enemies there. Eventually, you walk off that level, and you're back onto the world map. So it's basically just a means to say, these enemies are annoying, and they're bothering me and slowing me down. You can get money from these sometimes, but it's rare. So for the most part, those battles are just meant to do 2 things. 1, beat people up and slow you down. And 2, filling your monster encyclopedia, which I'll talk about in a few. So in addition to that, as you're running around, you'll eventually come across, I guess the best way to describe them is like mini and major dungeons. Many dungeons are exactly that, just like small areas filled with interconnected rooms, puzzles, monsters, and items and loot, sometimes stores as well. As you run around these areas, enemies will approach you, beat the stuffing out of them, get their goods. If you see a shop or a merchant, spend your hard-earned money to get upgrades to your pillar, or also to find maps by paying for them, which allows you to see all the rooms, for the most part, of the area the map is attributed to. If you have a little bit of extra cash, you can spend some of that money on keys. Keys' express purpose is to unlock larger chests when you come across them on the map. Usually good for excess money or healing items that come through in a clutch at times, because healing in this game actually does come at a premium. Enemies don't generally drop healing items. You have to heal by way of using a death potion or the aforementioned food items that may occasionally appear. So, with that said, when you're not in dungeons, you may be in town. And when you're in town, there's actually multiple towns, not just the one. But when you're in town, you'll come across a multitude of things, such as like a gambling den, a shop where you can pay for food that will allow you to get a buff for a certain amount of real time, and other things too, many of which will require you to spend money to unlock them, but then from there you can access them. But I mentioned earlier about the monster book. That is a very important thing in this game, because there is an NPC that will reward you for beating certain numbers of specific monsters. Pretty much every monster in the game has a specific number he wants you to kill, but if you do enough of them, you will unlock an accessory slot for your talisman, which will allow you to put more buffs on your talisman. Anything from like allowing you to kick the talisman, not talisman, I keep saying talisman, your pillar. And allow you to do anything from kicking the pillar to giving a longer reach, give you the generic, typical, hey, suck up all the drops that come off of enemies, and more. There are quite a few talismans you can equip, so you're going to want to unlock as many talisman slots as you can, as soon as you can. There are 6 total you can unlock. But then you'll occasionally find additional, abilities that you can use to get around and traverse the map, a la the Metroidvania aspect of things. No, rephrase that. A la the Metroid aspect of things. There's summons you can get, which will just kind of give like a nice kill streak when it's like when you need to kind of come through and clutch to do damage to enemies. There is a level up mechanic in the game, but it's sort of an afterthought, if anything else, because leveling up it does help, but it's nothing special. You level up by beating up monsters, and by doing so, you'll be able to do more damage to enemies with your attacks. Simple, very straightforward, nothing crazy. Just I leveled up, I'm stronger now. I'm not going to complain about it.
Root beer summon for 63 months. That is crazy.
That is crazy.
Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the sub. Thank you for being here. Pernell, tell us more about the monk.
He is the monk, the Twilight monk. So I pretty much mentioned the main aspects of the game. And aside from that, you go on to generic things such as, or not generic, but typical things like, how do I feel about the graphics? I think the art in this game is very nice to look at. Very beautiful game. And same goes for the music too. I think the music is nothing to really write home about, in the sense that I'm not going to be bumping it in my car, but it's a well done series of pieces that work well with the game itself. Very like Asian inspired, hence the the whole monk thing here, which is fun. I am happy with this game. I should mention this because I remember seeing a number of people complain about it. It doesn't bother me, but I've seen people complain about it. You can't save anywhere you want. This game has save points. You find the shrine, whether on the world map or in a dungeon. You walk up to it, you press the button, bam, you save your game. If you die, you go back to the last save point and you can try again. So if you're not the type that can handle the fact that there's like save points in dungeons and areas, there's usually one before a boss though, so it's not like you got to go a long way if you die at a boss fight or something. But if you don't like that, then that might be a sticking point for you. But otherwise, it's perfectly reasonable and fun. They do kind of go a little overboard on the backtracking for extra stuff, though. I feel like every single place in this blasted game, whether it's mini or major dungeon, has some area you can't access yet, and you have to come back once you get a specific unlock ability. Thankfully, at least, the game does give you a little bit of a ticker at the top that says how many of the game's collectibles are in that level and how many of them you found. But you can't mark your map or make any indication of a thing you noticed. So you'll ultimately end up coming back, and if it's not in a room that you haven't explored yet, you're just going to have to explore every room you've already been in and hope that this time you'll spot the thing that now you have the ability to access. So what that ultimately amounts to is there will be a lot of essentially somewhat considered to be wasted time. Needless backtracking. If that's not your cup of tea, that might be a problem. If you're like, I don't need to get everything, I just want to experience the game, well, then you won't even care about that complaint. But again, something I felt worth noting. But, the last two things I know you can upgrade in this game that I should mention are you can upgrade your healing, like your health stat, by getting the typical collect 3 items of the container to get a new spirit container. And there's also your sub-weapon meter. Oh, I didn't even mention the sub-weapons. In addition to your pillar, you do get access to additional attacking tools in the form of mystic arts. Think of them as just sub-weapons in the game. They range from like axes and bombs and the like. And you can use those by spending Ember. Ember can be, is a numeric tracker, being like, 50 increments of it. And each mystic art uses a certain amount of that. You get more back by defeating some enemies or by destroying like lanterns and stuff throughout areas. Pots and lanterns will sometimes drop Ember. And you can, of course, expand this by getting Ember shards to increase the bar. I feel like this game has been an enjoyable time for me. It didn't necessarily, it didn't wow me. I'll put it that way. But not every game needs to wow you, especially in a genre as crowded as this one is. I feel like every week there's like 3 new games that get released. And as a result, you're not going to always have that shining light. You might just get a game that's fun and cool for passing the time. I feel like this game is cool and is fun for passing the time. You can't go wrong with this purchase. And I do believe that if you get into it, you will not regret it. Just know there's going to be a lot of backtracking if you want to 100% the game. There's also pretty humorous writing involved in it, too.
Ooh, well, it's $20. Official verdict?
I think this game warrants a buy. It's a great time.
Nice. All right. Up next is Blankspace, developed by NoBread Studio, published by Penguin Pop Games. Released April 2nd on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5 for $9.99. Blankspace, an escape room visual novel with point-and-click elements. Interact with barrel, investigate your surroundings, solve puzzles, and find your way out of a strange-looking room. Not sure what he's been doing the night before. Chris wakes up. Oh, Chris, you're in this. In a strange room, handcuffed to a pipe. God, Chris, what are you up to?
I knew it.
He doesn't recognize the girl that wakes up next to him, but it seems they're both in a similar predicament. What's their story? Can they get out? How many cats do they have? Aki, tell us everything.
They have 0 cats. Sorry, Joe.
Chris,
0.
is that
Absolutely
true?
none. Say,
It's all true. I need a faster way to unmute my mic.
All right, Aki, what is Blankspace?
And this is a visual novel, obviously, and it's an adventure one, so you're making lots and lots of choices. Basically, all of them They matter in so much that they affect your relationship with this girl that you've woken up to named Beryl. And this is an escape the room style game. It has a mix of point and click and visual novel elements. You look around the room, you try to figure out how to escape, and sometimes it's quite a pain in the ass. Because this place doesn't fully follow logic, it follows a type of logic, a dumb person's logic. It works really well. And you're trying to figure out what's happened to you and why you're here, because you don't remember anything. It's not that, you got blackout drunk and you don't remember how you left the bar. No, you don't remember going to the bar or anything. You remember nothing. So whilst you're trying to figure your way out of these rooms, you're also interacting with this girl in hopes that maybe one of you can figure out what the hell's going on, and clearly she's hiding some shit, so gotta figure that out too. Yay! This ends up having, I think, 8 different endings, I believe. I got them all today.
Oh, wow. Not a long one?
Yeah. It'll probably take you a few hours for your first run. After that, nothing in the game really changes, so you just have to know what you're doing in order to make her happy or really piss her off, either way. Because there's a handful of endings. There's a good end, a true end, a special end, a sad, bad, dread, and lost endings. I don't know how many that was, but that's enough playthroughs. If you're just going for achievements, if you get the good end, you'll succeed at getting all the achievements all at once in one go, real nice and simple. I just decided I wanted to do everything in the game because fuck it, I could. So I started with the worst endings and worked my way up to the decent ones. It was great. It can be kind of difficult to figure out what options kind of piss her off and make her happy at first, because she's a bit weird. We'll leave it at that. Weird, yes, that's the nice way of putting this. However, this does touch on some touchy subjects. Touches on the concept of abuse, both physical and sexual. It talks about suicide and lots of alcohol abuse as well.
Rated M for mature.
Yeah. So if those are touchy subjects, maybe you might want to push this off a bit. But basically what you're doing is you're going through 3 different rooms and remembering stuff eventually. As well as interacting with this girl. The rooms themselves aren't super big, they're all just individual, small rooms. One of the rooms is straight up a bathroom. So it's not particularly large. It's like a house bathroom. So it's a very pretty small place. It's not particularly difficult, as long as you have a brain in your head. So, if you only have rocks rolling around up there, I'm sorry to tell you, you aren't getting through this without a walkthrough. I'm sorry. A couple of these are a little difficult to figure out exactly how you get the code. I had to look up one of the codes, and I have no idea where you're supposed to get the code from, because I've looked all throughout the room, and it's one of the last puzzles in the game, and I'm like, I have no idea where you get this number. I know where I get all the other numbers. They make sense. I do not know where I'm supposed to get this one, and it drives me out of my mind. So yeah, they can be a little difficult, because I play these a lot, and that one has permanently stumped me. I still do not understand how that number is obtained at all. So it's great fun. And yeah, it's an enjoyable, cute little game. The first playthrough will probably take you 3-4 hours, maybe more if you're struggling with some of the puzzles. But after that, most of the conversations, no matter what choice you make, most of the conversation is going to end up being the same. It'll change some of the immediate responses, and it'll change the ending possibly. that you get. So you're able to skip through a whole lot of the conversation after the first time because you're not learning anything new. So every other playthrough's like 30, 40 minutes, maybe. And once you've figured out the puzzles don't change. Everything is in the same location, everything. So it gets real quick to get through those puzzles. I could right now go through all those puzzles even and only hit the ones I need to at this point because they are ingrained in me at this point. There is some extra stuff you can do for the secret ending, but for that you have to get through literally all the other endings. So yeah, if you want to get everything, it's going to take you a lot of playthroughs, but it'll take you, I don't know, 8 to 12 hours to 100% the game. To get all the achievements, probably take you like 4 or 5.
Cool. Well, it's a $10 game. Is it worth it?
I totally think it is, as long as you can handle those touchy subjects, because it does go kind of in depth about them.
All right, sounds good. Next game, Spirit Valor, developed by EXE-CREATE, published by KEMCO, released April 4th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $19.99. In Spirit Valor, you play as a spirit caught in a struggle between magic and fate. After a magic outburst binds him to a human warrior, Richard's body, the two embark on a perilous quest to stop the rise of demonic forces. With the world's laws shattered and the Overlord vanished, they must track down this elusive enemy before it's too late. Chris, what is Spirit Valor?
I don't know. I'm just kidding. So, okay, Spirit Valor is, of course, the newest RPG from KEMCO EXE-CREATE, who I have reviewed. I think this might be my 50th game, but I'm going to have to actually count them. This is close to like the 50th game I've reviewed of theirs specifically. Nice. Yeah. So yeah, they have a long old history of creating like essentially mobile RPGs and kind of fitting them into the Switch and other modern consoles and stuff. This one, thank God, is one that was, I believe, first released in actually 2024. So this is a modern one. It's not like a remake of one from like 2007 or anything like that. Although sometimes they remake those and they actually make them really good, like Justice Chronicles and stuff. So, shout outs to when they put the effort in. Sometimes there's a terrible screen tearing and things like that, and you're just like, what is this frame rate? And, but this one is a nice, smooth, new game with some interesting twists. So yeah, you play as Warrior. You're not even given a name for a little while. So here's the setup, because I don't feel like the description really did it all that much justice. So in the fiction of this world, which, by the way, okay, so I always like to talk about KEMCO EXE-CREATE kind of because they repeat themselves pretty often with like certain elements of their games. And if you're releasing an RPG a month, it's kind of par for the that's it's a matter of course as far as that goes. So I sometimes do like to point out the things that I keep seeing pop up in these games. Grateful to say that this game does not feature a slow pan over the world map in order to tell the text story. It actually does it kind of old school style, like showing you pictures of things and stuff like that, like while it's doing the text, and like showing you images of the scenes. Not quite as fancy as something like Shining Force or whatever, but like at least it's not a slow pan over the world map. That's usually the way they tell stories. And yeah, in this one, so there's humans and there are spirits. The spirits kind of live in this nebulous spirit world, and humans live, of course, in the human world. And the way in which they interact is through magic. So in order to use magic as a human, you are basically summoning a spirit who does the magic. They kind of, there's an exchange. So a human has an innate kind of mana that is the sustenance of spirits, and so you're kind of trading your mana for the spirit to essentially release all this energy and do your attack. Okay, so this is important to the story because it basically, it talks about a epic battle from long ago in which a evil big bad guy was killed, and now there's a smaller bad guy that's going around that seems to be the incarnation or the rebirth of the big bad guy. And so the game opens up with your warrior and his two comrades fighting this thing, and so the warrior kind of has them, as a last-ditch effort to get rid of this weaker but not insignificant bad guy. He calls upon a spirit to release just like this crazy ultimate magic and stuff like that. The spirit is summoned, but the magic energy doesn't release quite right, and so it just kind of explodes and separates everybody. So what ends up happening is that the hero, who is now in dire straits for having suffered a magic explosion, the spirit is like still there because it was summoned, but like since the magic didn't go through, it's kind of like the spirit's just kind of like, how do I get home? So the hero basically said, or the warrior rather says, actually my spirit is going to separate from my body, so you can live in my body for a while my spirit recovers. So it's kind of weird, but it works in the lore of the game that the warrior rather, his actual consciousness and experience leaves the body, and the spirit that he summoned now occupies this body. And so it's a little bit of an isekai, but instead of being like modern time being flung back to fantasy, it's a spirit who knows nothing of the human world, who was just kind of summoned, essentially being told, hey, I'll trade you this loaf of bread for you zapping that bad guy. And then he got his loaf of bread, but then exploded, and now he has to learn how to be a human. But also the warrior's spirit kind of like not dissipates, it just goes bye for a while. Not like dead or anything, but he's not available, basically unconscious. So now he has to he doesn't have the warrior's experience, and he doesn't know anybody's names or what his mission is or anything like that. But he doesn't want to give up the identity either. So he's kind of like having to pretend he's the warrior while he is basically told to go back out there and fight the big bad guy. So that's the premise of the game. I don't even know why I'm explaining the whole plot, but it's a cool setup, I think. So, and it does explain some mechanics that are going to come up in the game. So yeah, you meet your three other characters. Of course, the warrior's name is Richard. The spirit's name is not given, at least not in the first part of the game. But you are essentially taking on the identity of Richard. So that's your character. And then you soon meet Alice, who is the niece of one of your now errant, possibly exploded, former party members. Again, we don't know, at least not in the first part of the game. And then you eventually meet up with Vivian and Finn, who are the two characters who look like RPG characters in the local guild. There's, one of them is a flirty guy, and the other one is a too serious magic-using lady. By the way, interestingly enough, in putting together this motley crew, they decided to go with giving two of the characters heterochromia, which is totally different from most other anime and RPGs, which only give the one character heterochromia. That's when your eyes are different colors from each other, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a very common trope in anime, and it's a thing that happens in real life fairly frequently, but it's cool in anime, right? So yeah, it's weird. Like your 4 different characters have, 8 different eye colors. No, 6 different eye colors. Anyways. So yeah, that's the story. It's, like I said, pretty cool. It's all about, going on this adventure and these differing personalities all trying to get along while the main character is holding on to the secret that he is just a partially exploded spirit occupying the body of a dude who is kind of in a magic coma. And yeah, so the way that the game kind of works, it's just a turn-based RPG. Your characters stand on one side, the enemies stand on the other. You take turns hitting each other until death. Now, this game, like a lot of the modern KEMCO games, doesn't really want to give you the entire game on a platter right away. So there's no it does have a lottery system, but it works a little bit differently. But there's no, as far as I know, no rolling for super items or anything like that to make the game entirely trivial. However, there are 4 difficulty settings, only one of which is easy. So you can crank it down to easy if you don't want as much of a challenge, you just want story, or you can crank it up to very hard, which will actually make it very hard. So if you do choose to not just breeze through the game, you have different systems to kind of help you along. So you have to learn things like what spell stones are and how spirits work. So the spell stones is something that you've seen in other KEMCO games as well. So it's kind of basically you obtain empty spell stones, you fling them at enemies, and you absorb their moves, which then become a one-time use item. The default is not default, but a common one is something that'll double your golden experience at the end of the battle. But then sometimes you get the enemy's special moves. And you can collect a whole bunch of these if you want. That's pretty cool. That comes up sometimes. Spirits is the more interesting one. So with the exception of Richard, because he's already a spirit, the other 3 characters can use spirit. They can summon spirits in battle. That's their way of doing magic, right? So the way that you roll for a spirit is that you basically choose if you want to summon a small, medium, or large spirit, huh? Small, medium, large, huh? And yeah. So basically, you choose the level of your summon. The level of the summon is going to determine, of course, how much damage. Well, just what kind of summon it is for one, because they actually all draw from random pools, but at their level. So you get a random small summon, a random medium summon, random large summon. Both the cost of MP to summon is going to go up as you choose bigger summons. Also, the likelihood goes down that this summon will actually ask to join you. So it's called a contract. So basically, when you summon a critter, it has a percentage chance to go into a contract with you, quote unquote, which basically means that this game has kind of a monster collecting aspect to it, except that it's summon things. So when you summon something and then form a contract with it, that means you can summon it directly instead of trying to roll for another summon. So it's not just random every time. It's but your character can only have so many summons that they can equip, and only so many summons that they can even have in the backlog inventory. So you can't just collect them all like certain games. You actually do have to cut some loose if they're not ending up being something that you need. And if you do the random summon and you summon the same critter that you already have a contract with, it will actually level up that other critter. So there is a level up kind of situation here going on as well. It's like a merger kind of thing. So if you have 2, they look if you could imagine a Squirtle, but it's fire-based instead of water-based. There is a monster called Fever, who so that's a low-level fire magic turtle. So if you have Fever already contracted to one of your characters, and then that character summons Fever again, then it automatically adds that Fever to the Fever you already have, and now he's a Fever +1, and so now he's more powerful. That is to say, the Fever that you permanently get to use is now more powerful. And And like I said, they all have a max level that you can go up to, and some of those levels go into the hundreds. So, yeah, basically a lot of what you're going to be doing in this game is summoning spirits and like kind of building your characters to have like certain types or certain things that they want to do. It's actually really engaging, and I really like it. There's no common magic system except that Richard, just as he levels up, he learns some of these spells that these monsters can do, but he just has them in a regular spell list because, again, he is actually a spirit occupying the body, the half-exploded body of a magic coma patient. The character doesn't look exploded, by the way. I'm completely being silly here. So yeah, everything else is just like basic. Equipment is basic. There's no swords eating swords in this game like there usually are in KEMCO games. Like I said, the spellstone system does make things a little bit interesting and gives you another way to engage with monsters versus, like I said, the summoning system. It does have a lottery shop that there's actually there's 4 kinds of currency in this game. That's actually kind of common for KEMCO EXE-CREATE. You have regular money for shops. You have jewels that you pick up, and those are your gambling jewels for like really high end. Actually, instead of weapons this time, well, I don't know if there's weapons. I haven't collected enough, but what I've gotten has been either items or summons. You can actually win a summon that's a much higher level than the ones you already have. However, they may have a prohibitively high MP cost, so you may actually want to not equip them right away. Because, like, you'll get, like, this one super cool move, but your character can only use it once before you need to heal up their magic again. So, you know, that's again, a way to not get so overpowered in these games, which is kind of cool. Yeah, past that, it's pretty typical KEMCO EXE-CREATE stuff. Like I said, you walk around the thing. There's a mini map. There's mini quests. There's permanent stat growth items. There's warehouses with keys. They always have warehouses with keys. And it's a pretty cool, engaging story. And like I said, I like the premise of this one. But yeah, it's mostly the star of the show is going to be the spirit summoning system, which again is new to this one. So there you go.
Very cool. Well, it clocks in at $20. What are your thoughts on Spirit Valor?
Well, $20 unless it gets really hard at the end and you decide to spring the extra $6 for the double experience or triple experience or double damage, because there are DLC aspects too. Yeah, I like this one for $20. I mean, that's more expensive than the KEMCO games typically are, but I will gladly pay a higher price for more engaging like aspects of the game, for higher production values, which this game does kind of have. Characters look a little more hand drawn in this one than the usual KEMCO lot. They may have changed artists or something else may be going on here, but yeah, I think that this game is, I would say $20 and no more is a buy it.
Gotcha.
I would say even with those
KEMCO
DLCs
is moving to $20 games now. I've noticed their past few have been $19.99.
Yeah, and like I said, I am totally fine with that as long as that's going into quality things, and originality essentially is kind of what we're looking for. Different things to really help people like me who are 50 games deep be like, oh yeah, I actually care about this and I want to see it through. More so than having wacky characters, because this game really does not have much wackiness to it. There are certain KEMCO EXE-CREATE games that are just off the wall, including the one where there's a princess who's a wall. So anyway, right. Yeah, I'm going to give it a buy it.
Cool. Well, we got one last game to talk about tonight called Chippy Stash. Developed and published by AFIL Games, released April 4th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Windows Store, PS4, PS5, $4.99 each. Winter is coming, and Chippy, the cleverest squirrel in the forest, needs to stash his precious acorns. In Chippy Stash, a charming tile-based puzzle game, you must help Chippy push acorns into hollow tree stumps, overcoming obstacles that will test your wit and strategy. Hockey, what is Chippy Stash?
Okay, this is a little puzzle game where you play as a squirrel and you push acorns around to get them to go into tree stumps. It is very simple. Every handful of levels, you get a new mechanic added into it. For instance, like there's mud and things slide through it until they hit a wall or some other immovable object, and you have to use that to move things around. Or, you can push it into a hole and it pops out of this same colored hole somewhere else. It's a fairly simple game. I beat it twice in one sitting because I got a bundle that had all versions of it, and I think that's the only thing that exists is a bundle that has all the versions of it, actually.
No, you can get them individual.
Oh, you can? Okay. Yeah. And I beat 2 of those in a night, and that wasn't the only game I played. So it's a nice, quick little game. It's very simple. And yeah, there's not a lot to say about this, because it's push nut into hole. Not difficult, especially for men that are used to the concept. I figured you'd have something like that to say. So yeah, I don't have anything to say about it. It is what it is. It's a very simple game.
So you make fun of Jacob when he doesn't have a lot to say about these.
Well, it's still his fault. I blame him anyways. I mean, if they want me to say more about a game this simple, then they really need to add complexity to it.
All right. Well, it's a $5 game. What do you think?
I'm for it. It was a cute little fun game, especially if you're an achievement hunter. If you're not, then this may be kind of boring for you. And it's really good for kids, though. So I'm for it if you're, one of those types of people. Kids or achievement hunter. Everyone else, maybe a pass.
All right. Sounds good.
Woohoo!
Yay! We're done with this episode. Thanks, everyone, for being here, hanging out, keeping us company. Big thanks to Big Adam and Andy for coming on, doing their thing. Thanks to all of y'all 3 for still being here, hanging out. Music. Why don't we play some F-Zero?
Sure.
Yeah.
Now the question.
You play what you want to play.
Here's the question. The
And
one-ups,
here's the answer.
Arm Cannon, or Smash Brothers?
Any of them do? I think Smash Brothers did a fire field. Pick that.
Descendants of
know which one
Erdrick did
is
a
Firefield.
Firefield back when I was in that
Oh
band.
my god, that's a lot of words, one at a time. Chris.
Yeah, I was gonna say my old band, Descendants of Erdrick, did a F-Zero cover that included Firefield.
Do you have an MP3
Play
for
that.
me?
I can link you on Bandcamp. You can download it for free.
Rock on. Then we'll play that.
Hey.
Yay. Anyone have any final words?
Dildos. There you go.
Character appropriate.